Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 31, Text 20. Apahata sakalaishanatmalatmani aviratamedhita bhavanopahutah Nija jana vashagatvamatmanoyan Nasarati chidravad akshara satam hi. Apahata, vanquished. Sakala, all. Eshana, desires. Amala, spotless. Atmani, to the mind. Aviratam, constantly. Edhita, increasing. Bhavana, with feeling. Upahutaha, being called. Nijajana, of his devotees. Vasha, under the control. Gatvam, going. Atmanaha, his. Ayan, knowing. Na, never. Sarati, goes away. Chidravat, like the sky. Aksharaha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Satam, of the devotees. He, certainly. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Being completely cleansed of all material desires, the devotees are freed from all mental contamination. Thus they can always think of the Lord constantly and address Him very feelingly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing Himself to be controlled by His devotees, does not leave them for a second, just as the sky overhead never becomes invisible. Please repeat. Being completely cleansed of all material desires, the devotees are freed from all mental contamination. Thus they can always think of the Lord constantly and address Him very feelingly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing Himself to be controlled by His devotees, does not leave them for a second, just as the sky overhead never becomes invisible. Purport. It is clear from the previous verse that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janardhan, is very quickly satisfied by the activities of his devotees. The pure devotee is always absorbed in the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated, Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17. By always thinking of Krishna, the pure devotee's heart is freed from all kinds of desires. In the material world, the heart of the living entity is filled with material desires. When the living entity is cleansed, he does not think of anything material. As the mind is completely cleansed, one attains the perfectional stage of mystic yoga, for then the yogi always sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart. Dhyanavasthita tadgatena manasa pashyantiyam yoginam. Srimad Bhagavatam 12.13.1. As soon as the Lord is seated within the heart of the devotee cannot be contaminated by the material modes of nature. As long as one is under the control of the material modes, he desires so many things and makes so many plans for material sense enjoyment. But as soon as the Lord is perceived in the heart, all material desires vanish. When the mind is completely free from material desire, the devotee can think of the Lord constantly. In this way, he becomes completely dependent upon the lotus feet of the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays, Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Budhau Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Dhuli Sadrasham Vichintaya. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 20.32 and Shikshashtaka 5. My dear Lord, I am your eternal servant, but somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of this material world. Kindly pick me up and fix me as a speck of dust at your lotus feet. Similarly, Srila Narottam Das Thakur prays, Haha Prabhu Nanda Sutta Vrishabhanu Sutta Juta Karuna ko raho e bar Narottama dāsa koy natheli ho ranga paye Tuma vine kya chhe amar. My dear Lord, you are now present with the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, Srimati Radharani. Now both of you please be merciful upon me. Don't kick me away because I have no shelter other than you. In this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes dependent on his devotee. The Lord is invincible, yet he is conquered by his pure devotee. He enjoys being dependent on his devotee, just as Krishna enjoyed being dependent on the mercy of Mother Yashoda. Thinking himself dependent on the devotee gives the Supreme Lord great enjoyment. Sometimes a king may engage a joker, and in the process of joking, the king is sometimes insulted. The king, however, enjoys these activities. Everyone worships the Supreme Lord with great reverence. Therefore, the Lord sometimes wants to enjoy the chastisement of his devotees. In this way, the relationship eternally existing between the Lord and his devotees is fixed, just like the sky overhead. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadrutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Apahata sakalai shanamala mani. So, vanquishing all the desires. So, being completely cleansed of all material desires, the devotees are freed from all mental contamination. Thus, they can always think of the Lord constantly and address Him very feelingly. Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing Himself to be controlled by His devotees, does not leave them for a second, just as the sky overhead never becomes invisible. So the Lord can be thought of feelingly and constantly only when one is freed from all material desires. And this is explained by Kunti Devi also. Kunti Devi says in 2 verses, जन्मैश्वर्य श्रुतश्रीभिर् एधमानमदः पुमान् नैवार्हत्यभिधातुं वै त्वामकिञ्चन गोचरम्. My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. Tvam akinchana gocharam. Those who are materially exhausted, because one who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education and bodily beauty, cannot address you with sincere feeling. What is the meaning of materially impoverished or exhausted? It's not that when one is poor, he becomes a great devotee. Actually, when one is poor, it is a very high chance he can address the Lord very feelingly, and that will help him progress. But when we are intoxicated with material wealth, one does not have such sincere feeling. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita also by Krishna. (2.44) भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तयापहृतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. This is the difficulty with great wealth, great material comfort. When we will forget the Lord. This is the risk of a comfortable material position. We have to not forget the fact that actually our goal of life is to always think of Krishna. Smartavyah satatam Vishnur vismartavya na jatuchit. Always to remember Krishna and never to forget Him. That is our goal. And if anything that helps us attain that goal, it should be welcome. It should be heartily accepted. So, if material comfort gets us away from Krishna, then we have to reject material comfort, opulence. If material discomfort propels us towards Krishna, then we have to accept it. So, Kunti Devi further says, Namo kinchana vittaya nivritta gunavrittaye atma ramaya shantaya kaivalyapataye namaha. Namah akinchana vittaya. Vitta means wealth. Akinchana vitta. You are akinchana vitta, Kunti is saying. You are the wealth of the materially impoverished. Those who are materially poor, you are their wealth. What is the meaning? Who is materially poor? See, akinchana vittaya, unto the property of the materially impoverished. My obeisances are unto you who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and are master of the monists. Atmaramaya Shantaya Kaivalyapataya Namah. What is materially poor means? That means he has no stock of karma anymore. What is our vitta? What is our asset and what is our liability in this world? See here 11:26:33. Dharmo vittam nirnam pretya. What does this mean? Dharmo vittam nirnam pretya. Pretya? Pretya means one who is going to die. For one who is dead or going to die. Pretya. Dharmo vittam nirnam pretya. For the dying man, what is his wealth? Dharma. Because he cannot take anything anywhere to the next life. What he can take is his stock of dharma and karma. The dharma becomes the vitta, which is the asset, and his karma becomes the liability. And real dharma means anything done for the Lord. Haritoshanam, samsiddhir haritoshanam. When there is haritoshanam, there is dharma. So, if one has any kind of karma, whether it is seemingly pious or impious, both will be actually liabilities in the sense that he will have to take material birth and undergo material conditions of life. But if such karma can get him into the association of devotees, that's fine. So that is at least the best outcome of a bad bargain. If we do a bad bargain, suppose we bargained for a price of an iPhone and then we bought it for very cheap. Now when I come back home, I see that the iPhone is fake. It was a very bad bargain. Yeah, I may have gotten it for cheap price, but now it is a fake iPhone. But the best use I can do is, at least it is working, it's a phone. I may use it to call some devotees to come to the temple or send WhatsApp messages. Maybe it's an Android phone looking like an iPhone. I have seen. One devotee was nicely cheated. He thought it was iPhone and looks everything like iPhone. Look and feel. But actually it's a skin. You know what is a skin? Android skin. It looks like an iPhone screen and everything. But underneath is all Android. What to do now? He already has a phone. So make best use. At least it's a phone. At least you can still connect. So connect it and use it for Krishna. So we have asked for this. We wanted to become Supreme Lord. Okay, we were given something. Now we became a fake Lord. What to do now? We wanted to compete with Krishna. Where are we competing with ants and worms in the stool now? So that is our. We ended up with a very bad bargain. But the best use of it is that we can use it in Krishna's service. So if we do not understand the goal of life, then all we are carrying forward is our liabilities, all the punishable offenses that we are committing here. Dharmo vittam nirnam pretya. So this akinchana vittaya. Akinchana means he has no more of this so-called dharma vitta. I mean materialistic dharma vitta. Like any pious activities or any desires. Why do people commit pious activities? So that they can get some materialistic improvements, promotion into heavenly planets or something like that. So when one is zero, when one is completely disinterested in such an affair, for such people, Krishna is the vitta. He is the wealth of such people. So therefore, materially impoverished means he has no material desires. If one is full of material desires, he is not poor in his material life. He still has a lot of interest in this material life, basically. One who is disinterested, Krishna is his wealth. Namo kinchana vittaya nivritta gunavrittaye. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. Nivritta gunavrittaye. Atma Ramaya Shantaya. So one who is self-satisfied, he can be, yesterday also, Sarva Indriya Upashantya. So, by our senses being completely pacified, how will that be possible? When we are Atmarama. Atmaramaya Shantaya. But the Lord is always Atmaramaya and He is always Shantaya. And therefore, you see, and therefore you are the most gentle and the master of the monists. The monists, those who want to become self-satisfied, they are called monists. Monists means those who are into mono, like monologue, dialogue. Monologue means one person speaking, that's all, like what I am doing now. There's a monologue. Monist means one who wants to be alone, ekatva. He wants to become one with the Supreme. He does not want this dialogue between him and God. No. Krishna and Arjuna had dialogue. He does not want dialogue. He wants to be a monologue. He is the one speaking, he is listening, everything. Advaitam. So the one who is into this impersonal understanding, they are called monists. Those who want to merge into the oneness of the Lord. Why is called master of the monists? Because they want to be self-satisfied. But he is the most self-satisfied. He is the master of all monists. Kaivalya pataye. Pati means master. Kaivalya means those who want liberation, at least especially monists. So now, Atmaramaya Shantaya. He is very pacified. And therefore he is gentle. A self-satisfied person can be gentle with others. Those who are cruel with others, they are not satisfied with themselves. They are very unsteady, agitated. That's why the outpouring of such agitation goes on to others. Whereas one who is self-satisfied, he is gentle. And in today's verse, so the Supreme Lord, see the Sanskrit, Nijajana Vashagatvam. Nijajana Vashagatvam. This is very important. Nijajana means devotees or Harijan. Or, this Gandhi, he started Harijan. Harijans means the lowest class of people, he put them as Harijan name, and then they have to be equal with everybody like that. They have to be considered equal. So this equal discrimination, the whole caste system was based on name, no qualification. Just Brahmana birth, Brahman family, Brahman. And only namesake, Brahmana. And to counter such namesake system, Gandhi introduced another namesake counteraction. Just label someone Harijan. Although he is eating, all kind of nonsense, he is Harijan now. He is a Mahajan. He called them Harijan. And they also gave him one big title, namesake title, Mahatma. The whole namesake program. Quality-wise, nothing. Simply rubber stamping each other. Oh, somebody is saying, I am Brahman, you are Shudra. Okay, you are no more Shudra, you are Harijan. Actually, Dalits, even higher, lower than Shudra sometimes. Chandal, Mlecha, Yavana. They became suddenly Harijan. Oh, then the Harijans became very, you are Mahatma. Like animal praising another animal, that's all. Swavit Varahoshta Khare, Samstuta Purusha Pasu. All on the left, keep elevating. Yes, we are not against this, we are against discrimination. But, yes, you make the person Harijan, not simply name him Harijan. Make the person, that is what Prabhupada did. That is the difference between Prabhupada and this Gandhi. He named them Harijan, whereas Prabhupada went to the Western world, all Mlechas, Yavanas, worse than any Dalit or whatever, lower caste. Worst of the lower, Naradham. He went to the Naradhamas and made them Harijan. Actually, devotees of Hari. Then yes, they will be respected more than Brahmanas. So, Nijajana Vashagatvam. So, Vasha means to come under control. Gatvam. He comes under the control of the Nijajana. or the devotees. Atmanoyan nasarati chidravad akshara satam. So for such devotees, the Lord is always visible, and for the Lord, such devotees are always in His heart. Those who are serving Him feelingly. So, in the first part of this verse, apahata sakala eshana, apahata sakala eshana amala atmani. The material desires have to, first of all, one has become spotless. To be constantly chanting Hare Krishna, Kirtaniya Sadahari, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said. What is the prerequisite for that? Prerequisite. How to always chant Hare Krishna without stop and derive great pleasure from such chanting. It is not to derive pleasure that we should chant, but it is to please Krishna, chanting His name to please Him, and by His pleasure one becomes happy. So how to come to such position? What is that? Kirtaniya Sadahari. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Trinadapi Sunichena, humbler than the grass. One must become very humble. Like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis, they were saying that we are lower than the worm in the stool. We are lower, worse than the worm in the stool. They are saying. Now, if anybody insults him, hey, you worm in the stool, will he feel bad? He will not feel bad. Because he already is thinking like that. But if he is thinking high class, I am very high class, I am the best among the Manushanam Sahasreshu, I am the one in a million people, I am a rare breed devotee. If he thinks like that, anybody says anything else, will find insulting. So, what is that? See, CC Madhya 23.26. Sarvottam apana ke hina korimane. What is that? Sarvottam apana ke hina korimane. This is the devotee's mentality. Although a pure devotee's standard is above all, he still considers himself to be in the lowest stage of life. So when one considers oneself lowest, any insult other than that, or even that, the lowest thing, is no more an insult for him, because he is already thinking himself like that. If somebody says, he says, thank you for reminding me, he will say. If somebody says, you are a dog, thank you for reminding me, I was thinking something else. So he will take it gladly. But of course, such offender will get his dues. Krishna will not spare him, that's another thing. But Trinadapi Sunichena means, if this is humility. See here, further, let's read this one also. Harau ratim vahannesha narendranam shikhamanihi bhiksham atannaripure swapakam api vandate king Bhagarat. Bhagarat? Bhagirath? Bhagarat? What is Bhagarat? Who is this? I thought Bhagirath? Bhagarat. There is a different Maharaj. This is different. I don't know. Where is this from? Padma Puran. We don't even know the story. King Bhagarat always carried affection for Krishna within his heart. Although Bhagarat Maharaj was the crown jewel of kings, he was still wandering about and begging alms in the city of his enemies. He was even offering respects to Chandalas, low-class men who eat dogs. So this is an example from Padma Puran. I would like to actually know the story behind this. Maybe we will do some research. Interesting. So, example. So he was the highest of very high. Rishabdev also was like that. Next, Krishna Kripa Koriben Dridha Kori Jane. A fully surrendered devotee always hopes that Lord Krishna will be kind to him. This hope is very firm in him. So the next point is hope. But here also is humility. With humility comes hope. Because if one has any confidence that I can do this, that means he is not humble. Bharat Maharaj? We need to see this. What is this mentioned here? Why the change to Bharat Maharaj? Who is Bharat? I don't know. Bharat Maharaj makes total sense. Let's see with the understanding of Bharat Maharaj. Let's see. In the cities of his enemies. He went to the forest. So that makes sense. Why they changed? Need to check in the Padma Puran. What is this verse? This is the latest version actually. Pocket Vedas is a little bit earlier version. So if they have done this, they have done with some research maybe. Otherwise it's a total, I don't know what they were doing. That's another possibility. Bharat Maharaj makes sense. So if I have confidence in myself, in my abilities, that means I am not humble. Because I must understand whatever ability I have, of course, in a general way, a devotee may be confident of something. But that is only just like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur saying, he used to say always, instead of saying, I will go there, on this date I will be in Madras. Instead of saying like that, he would say, Krishna willing, I will be in Madras on this date. Krishna willing. If Krishna will. Otherwise I may die, something may happen. But this is my plan, even if Krishna wills so, then this might happen. So, he would say like that always. Krishna willing. So, similarly, out of that humility, then this verse is there. Na prema shravanadi bhaktirapiva yogothava vaishnavo jnanam va shubha karma va kiyadaho sajjatirapyasti va हीनार्थाधिक साधके त्वयि तथा प्यच्छेद्य मूला सती हे गोपी जनवल्लभ व्यथयते हा हा मदाशैव माम्. O my Lord, again humility, you see, I do not have any love for you, nor am I qualified for discharging devotional service by chanting and hearing, nor do I possess the mystic power of a Vaishnava, nor do I possess knowledge or even pious activities, Shubha karma va kiyadaho, nor do I belong to a very high caste family. On the whole, I do not possess anything. Still, O beloved of the gopis, because you bestow your mercy on the most fallen, I have an unbreakable hope that is constantly in my heart. That hope is always giving me pain. So, one only depends entirely on the Lord, and that comes on this platform of humility. Actually, once Prabhupada was asked that question, what does it mean to be humble? So Prabhupada said, humble means something to the effect that nothing will save us in this world except the Lord. So we think we have so much faith in our material advancement and our society, our family, our insurance, bank balance. Is this the one? देहापत्यकलत्रादिषु आत्मसैन्येषु सत्स्वपि तेषां प्रमत्तो निधनं पश्यन्नपि न पश्यति. Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, children and wife. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. Fallible soldiers, Atma Sainyeshu. Sena means army. Sainyeshu means in the army, he has a lot of faith. What is his army? To protect him? What is his defense? Body, his body. He will build up his body like stone. Shilatamka nakhalaya. His chest was like stone, Hiranyakashipu. But nakhalaya, with nakha, with fingernails. Narasimhadev just tore him apart. So he has a lot of faith in his body, his children, his wife, and everything else that comes with it. His house, his security system, his security guards, Z plus security. You know Z plus security in India? There is a grade of security. If a person is Prime Minister has the highest, Z plus security. There is Y plus security also. Y. So that's a little lower, like that. I don't know here what they call it. So there is different levels of security. So he has a lot of faith in these things and his scientific advancement. Stem cell research. Oh, I can be younger. I can live longer. He has all these things and he places a lot of faith in this and spends a lot of money on this. Atma Sainyeshu, his defense systems. But Tesham Pramatto Nidhanam. Nidhanam means destruction. All his soldiers also will die, what to speak of himself. His soldiers who are supposed to protect him will also die. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. This is the blind civilization. So, a pure heart means no materialistic desires, means nirmamo nirahankaraha. विहाय कामान् यः सर्वान् पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहंकारः सशान्तिम् अधिगच्छति. 271 Bhagavad Gita. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. But how can one attain this position? To understand that actually Krishna, his desires have to be fulfilled. Just to say that no, my desire, I should not have any desires, that is not possible. I should have all desires to satisfy Krishna's desires. We cannot be empty. That desires of material desires must be replaced by a spiritual desire. That is called Siddhi Lalasa. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there is a song also, Siddhi Lalasa. Kabhe have bolo Shaydin Amar. Kabhe have bolo Shaydin Amar. When will that day be mine? When Shuddha Name Ruchi, Aparadhik Ghuchi, Shuddha Name Ruchi. What is that? When my offences will cease, when I will have taste for the holy name, when I will go out and preach with full compassion for the fallen souls, when will that perfection come? So Siddhi Lalasa, the greed for perfection. Materialistic people like to say, perfection is nonsense. There is no such thing as perfect. You should not try to be perfect because you will never be. So settle for imperfection. In fact, they say perfectionism is, what is that? Of course, they mean that to do something so perfectly that we cannot even be doing it and never actually finishing the task because I want to do it so perfectly. In that way they say. And they have come to accept the fact that, there's no such thing as perfection. But no, there is perfection. Just that they do not know. Perfection means to be Krishna conscious. So a person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship. So perfection means to have all desires for Krishna. So how to give up sense of proprietorship? To understand that Krishna is the proprietor. To feel it immediately. Because proprietorship cannot be taken away with the sense of proprietorship. That's why we have to understand who is the proprietor. I will think that wallet which has fallen on the ground, I am the proprietor as long as I do not know that, I do not see the actual proprietor. When I see the actual proprietor coming and taking his wallet, I will back off and act like I did not see the wallet. So when I understand the proprietor, then everybody will automatically understand that I am not the proprietor. But when we are not sure who is the proprietor, I want to be the proprietor. Everybody will think I want to be the proprietor. So give up all sense of proprietorship means to ascertain that Krishna, to certainly understand that Krishna is the proprietor of everything. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Sarvaloka maheshwaram. Krishna is giving very simply, he is saying, if you have any doubt about who is the proprietor of something, no. Sarvaloka maheshwaram. Gyatva mam shantam rachati. Whatever smallest speck of dust you find, or the biggest planet, or the biggest sun, or whatever you find, biggest diamond, I am the proprietor. He gave a easy proprietorship document, like title deed. Every property has a title deed, and this is my title deed. Sarvaloka Maheshwara. Finish. Nobody is proprietor, everybody is just tenant here. That's all. And when asked you to get out, you have to get out. So, and he is devoid of false ego. So the only way where we can come to this platform is the more we understand Krishna. Then these dirty things in the heart will go. Apahata sakala eshana. What is that? What is verse? Amala atmani. Apahata sakalaeshana amala atmani. Amala, spotless. So how his desires will be vanquished? Prabhupada also quoted in the Bhagavad and the purport. Shrinmata swakatha Krishna. Shrinmatam swakatha Krishna. Punya shravana kirtana. Hridayantasthohi abhadrani vidhunoti. So Hrisatam. Vidhunoti means completely cleansed. And that will happen by Shrinmatam swakatha Krishna. Punya shravana kirtana. We have to constantly hear. Then the more and more we get convinced about the Supreme Lord, the more and more we get convinced that I am not the owner of anything. And we understand that I am actually the lowest of the low. 284. Shrinvatah shraddhaya nityam grinatashcha svacheshtitam kalena nati dirghena Bhagavan vishate hridi. Dirgha means long. Ati dirgha means even long. Very, 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 very extremely long. But na ati dirghena. No more. Not at all long. Very, very short. Kalena. Kalena means time. Kalena na ati dirghena. Very quickly. Extremely quickly. Bhagavan vishate hridi. The Lord will enter the heart. How? Shrinvatah shraddhaya nityam. We have to be hearing this message nityam, always. Nityam bhagavata sevaya. And with shraddhaya. Bhaktya bhagavatam grahyam na buddhya na cha tikaya. Many people write big tika, commentary on the Bhagavatam. We cannot understand, especially professional commentators. No, we cannot understand. Na buddhya, all these commentators are useless. I am actually the most intelligent. My intelligence, I will figure out the meaning of Bhagavatam. Cannot. Bhaktya Bhagavatam Grahyam. Only with bhakti. And what is that bhakti? Starts with Shraddha. Adav Shraddha. So Shrinvatah Shraddhaya Nityam. Grinatascha Svacheshtitam. Seriously by one's own endeavor. Taking the matter seriously. The subject matter of Bhagavatam should not be just like, some time pass. The devotee asked me to, this, when I go to class, every time they ask me to, read. Okay, I know, I will just read something. Okay. Next time if he asks, I have an answer. Yeah, I am reading Prabhu. So there will be a symptom of a person who is reading with Shraddha. He will become more humble. He will become more service oriented. He will become more inquisitive maybe. Maybe he will ask some questions. I read this. How to understand this? Something. Or he will share his realization. Oh, I read something very nice. This is what I read. He will share. So there are symptoms. Not that I am reading Prabhu, but after 5 years, I don't know anything. No need actually 5 years. Just 2 months, 3 months, if one reads seriously, he will have a good understanding of the philosophy. Read every day. And he will notice some very good details also. So when there is absence of such thing, that means the person is not reading. So you have to take it seriously. Srinmata Shraddhaya Nityam Grinatascha Svacheshtitam Kalena Natidirghena Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. The Lord will enter the heart. The Lord is in the heart of everyone. He already entered. Yes, but perception of the Lord. Lord entering means we being able to perceive the presence of the Lord in the heart. So how? Okay, read the time. Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and with faith, Shraddhaya, and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna manifested in their hearts within a short time. Now, next, also very, very important. Pravishtah karnarandhrena svanam bhavasaroruham dhunoti shamalam krishnah salilasya yatha sharat. Srimad Bhagavatam, the sound incarnation of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, enters into the heart of a self-realized devotee. How it enters? That is not mentioned here, but in the Sanskrit you can see. Karnarandhrena, Randhra means hole, Randhra. Randhrena means through the medium or through the passage. Hole. What hole? Karnarandhrena. There are many holes in the body. Karnarandhrena. Pravishtah karnarandhrena. It enters through the ears and goes into the heart. Another verse also says this. What is that? Satisfaction of the ear and the heart. Anyway, we'll go to that. He enters into the heart of the self-realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material association, such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus, it acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. Eyes, but actually, what you are seeing, you are not seeing form, you are seeing the words, and that is actually ears. It is actually ears. Because when you are seeing, then you are saying it, with your mind. Like, so the words is again hearing. Seeing is the words. Seeing means usually is for form. The words is they are still considered ears. So, autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. This is interesting. The dust of the material association cannot be cleansed without Krishna. But here it is also said that unless the dust is gone, Krishna cannot come. But the dust cannot be gone if Krishna does not come. That means Krishna is the purifying factor, so he is the means and he is the goal. Chanting is the means and chanting is the goal, end also. Without chanting we cannot purify our heart. Without purified heart we cannot have Krishna in the heart. So that's why by chanting, by hearing, then we purify our heart. Because unless we understand, again just now, the example, unless I understand the proprietor without a doubt, because he is the proprietor, so I am not the proprietor, that wallet. If I don't know who is the proprietor, then I will try to be the proprietor of that wallet. So, that dirty doubt, that tendency to steal, this is a dirty thought. But that dirt can be taken away, not just, okay, I am not the owner, never mind. But after I go, I should have taken that. Now somebody else has it, you see. I did not have it. All these things, there will be regret or something. So, we cannot come out of that dirty thought unless we understand the truth. So, we have to understand Krishna as a supreme proprietor and supreme friend and supreme beneficiary of everything. Then, Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. Then Shanti. So one who understands Krishna as these three things will get Shanti. Why? Why Krishna said Bhoktaram Yankitapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati? Why? If we understand Krishna as the supreme beneficiary of all sacrifices, and if we understand that he is the supreme owner of everything, and if he is the supreme friend of everything, we will get peace. What kind of answer is that? I want peace, I am having some problem. How does this knowledge matter to me, and how is that going to give me peace? What is this? Because I want to be the beneficiary. That is actually causing me trouble. And I want to be the owner, and that is causing me trouble. And I want to be the friend. Or I take everybody else as a friend who is actually cheater. I take cheaters to be my friends. I will go to some guru, some baba, and ask something, and he is my friend, or my insurance company, or my this thing, that thing. We think all these are our friends. But they actually only drag us down to hell. Then they cannot help. So, either we have taken shelter of cheaters as friends, or we want to become the friend of everyone. I will teach people. I will start some new movement. Everybody starting nowadays is a trend. Every small thing has to be a movement. It becomes a huge movement. So, there's one colored man was, black man was killed. Black Lives Matter movement. And then everything becomes a movement nowadays. Anti-body shaming movement. Somebody is fat, so they were ridiculed or something. No, we should not be body shaming people. We should stand against body shaming. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we should understand that soul is neither thin nor fat. That's another thing. But to take fat as a glorified thing, that is also movement nowadays. You have so many health complications. Think about that. Simply, like, this is also okay, that is also okay, everything okay, nothing is not okay. But if somebody tells and I am wrong, that is not okay. Everything should be okay, right? He should also be able to say whatever he wants. Woke culture. Leftist propaganda. Everything, there is a movement. So if we understand Krishna is a friend, and if we take his advice, what did he say? Surrender unto me. So a real friend will give us good advice. So if we take his advice instead of anybody else's advice, that is. And also, even otherwise, even when we are going through troubles, we should understand that Krishna, being the supreme friend, He is giving me these troubles so that my inclination to enjoy this material world will be diminished. So he is diminishing my desire to enjoy this material world by showing me the troublesome nature of this material world. I am not interested in Krishna, I am interested in my own happiness, and I am chasing material life. So Krishna is kind enough to show me that this is not going to give you happiness by giving me some trouble. And so that's good. So in this way, in every situation, he always takes Krishna as a friend, never blames him for anything. And then he is always happy. So then only these dirty things in the heart will go. So this hearing is important. Such hearing is so powerful that jita jitopyasi, ajita jitopyasi taistrilokyam. We can conquer the unconquerable. See? The Lord, nobody can conquer him, but somebody can conquer him. Who is that? Jnane prayasamudapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadiya vartam sthane sthitah shrutigatam tanuvan manobhir ye prayasho jita jito pyasita istrilokyam. Those who, even while remaining situated in their established social position, that means whatever they are doing, no need to change, no need to become sannyasi, nothing. Stay wherever you are, but throw away the process of speculative knowledge and with their body, words and mind offer all respects to the descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. This is the exact thing today's verse is saying. So we can conquer what is that? Nijajana Vasha Gatvam. When the heart is purified and one offers or serves the Lord feelingly, then Nijajana Vasha Gatvam. The Lord becomes controlled by such devotee. And how will that happen? By hearing. So that is, what is that? Pleasing to the ear and the heart. Yeah. Bhavanti hrit karna. Hrit karna. Hrit means heart, karna means ear. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hrit karna rasayana katha. So, Krishna katha is hrit karna rasayana. The ear and the heart become very, very satisfied. Rasayana, pleasing. Tad joshana adash apavargavartmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. In the association of pure devotees, discussions of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of God, it is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced in the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. So this is the Shraddha we will get. More and more we will get faith by hearing. That's why those who are not interested in hearing Vasudeva Katha Ruchi, if they don't have Vasudeva Katha Ruchi, not inclined to hear, then they will not make any advancement. Dirty things in the heart, dirty things will occupy the heart. And how to get Vasudeva Katha Ruchi, how to have that inclination to hear about Krishna? Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra. See, Shushrushoha Shraddadhanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. You should serve the devotees. then we will get the affinity to hear or attraction to hear the messages of Vasudeva. And the more we hear the messages, the more we develop the service attitude and we do our service properly. Otherwise, we may be officially doing service, but mind is thinking of all nonsense, preoccupied with everything nonsense. That is not feelingly offering service. So today the word is, what is that feelingly? Aviratam edhita bhavana upahutaha. With feeling, edhita, increasing feeling, aviratam, constantly. So this is possible, constantly increasing feeling. That is possible, anandambhuti vardhanam. That is possible for one who is, what is that? Hearing about Krishna. That's why 10:9 and then 10:10. Once we hear and discuss with devotees, then we'll get the enthusiasm. Then bhava samanvitam. See? Matchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So by conversing about Krishna Katha, what happens? They become enlivened and the bhava comes. When you don't read, then the bhava doesn't come. Simply, we can easily quit the movement. We are actually a very risky position if we don't read. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Tesham, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come. Many devotees, as long as they are with the temple, they are fine, okay, following something. But when they go back home, forgotten, they are never to be seen again. They will go back to India, never to be seen again. Why? They don't have any zeal to preach, nothing. They are not coming to the movement to offer their service, to surrender their life to Prabhupada and preach. They are coming to the movement so that Hare Krishna is good for me. My life has become better when I came to Hare Krishna. That's all. Okay, so what can I do? Nothing, no thinking. There is no thinking of how I can serve this movement. No, what the movement can do for me. I became vegetarian, I became my wife, children all became vegetarian, we will be chanting here and there. And prasadam every day we are offering and go, and nothing changed in my life, nothing. Why? Not reading. If we read, then more and more we will develop distaste. We will develop distaste for material life. So whoever is devotee here now getting trained must eventually, if you can stay here, that's well and good, but if you can't, then so think of always opening centers, expanding the movement, that's all. That should be there should be no other life. If we were introduced to this movement when we were already working, then eventually get that desire down. Okay, eventually this is not the comfortable position. I should become out of this comfortable position. Just like Prabhupada, he was having business and everything, but eventually he gave up everything and preached. But that cannot happen if we don't read, we don't regularly associate with the message and actively serve. Not just chutney business. It should become our only business. See? Huh? Family business. Just like family business. Not taking it very seriously. Seriously means I should offer myself to this movement. That should be the standard. So all right, I think stop there. So it's Bhagirath. Why is Bhagarath? This is Bharat Maharaj. This is Bhagavatam 5:14-43. This is Bharat Maharaj. Yeah. This one is Bhagirath. I think it's not maybe. No, this is Bhagarath. No, he's saying pridelessness means humility, na? This actually is about humility only, that verse 23-26. So humility means Bhagirath, if it is mentioned in the nectar of devotion, I mean pridelessness as Bhagirath there. Just because it is, see, Chaitanya Charitamrita is different. It's not like Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam mentions one by one the incident, the pastimes. But Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting from different things to prove a point that he is trying to make. So sometimes examples will be all over the place, but it is that point that is. Sorry. Any questions or comments on this topic? Oh, there is questions. The question mark personified is there in the comment section. Divya Mataji. Yeah, so Radhika Sakhi Mataji also said the same thing. In original books, Madhya 23-27 is referring to Bharat Maharaj, but in Nectar of Devotion 18, similar quote is there for Bhagirath. Padma Purana stated that King Bhagirath was emperor above all other kings, yet he developed such ecstatic love for Krishna that he became a mendicant and went out begging even to the homes of his political enemies and untouchables. He was so humble that he respectfully bowed down before them. That means it's definitely Bhagirath. Divya Mataji is asking, reading and hearing are both the same? Yeah. When occupied in daily routine services, if one hardly gets time to read but can listen to lectures for a certain period of time and then resume reading, does this hearing equal to reading? Yeah. So reading we will read, and then hearing means we are reading the same thing but hearing the realizations of other devotees as well. And we just go deep into some verse, So our format Prabhupada gave us, discuss one particular verse. So references, cross references everywhere, like that. So we'll get a deeper understanding of each and every verse. Purport is there definitely, but when devotees also share the realizations, connecting different things, then that enhances our understanding. Next question. Prabhuji, one more doubt unrelated to this topic. Okay. Yesterday most of us observed Nirjala Ekadasi. I hope you too might have observed it. Yesterday evening you gave lecture and today morning giving lecture. How is it possible to be healthy enough to give lectures while observing fasting? I am unable to do any physical activity for some period of time. Speaking is not much of a tiring job. But actually the whole idea of fasting is to increase spiritual engagement. Not that, Prabhu, I am fasting, I don't want to do anything, I just sleep. What kind of fasting is that? Better don't fast then. Eat and do service. But that's the whole point of minimizing bodily necessities and doing more service. Shubham Prabhu is on a campaign. Yesterday night also. Please don't forget to reply on Instagram. Alright, so thank you very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद।